Welcome into First Pitch. I am Drew Martin, joined by Matt Josephs and Tony Finn of Sports Memo and WagerTalk.com. We're breaking down three games on tonight's slate of sleeper monster MLB slate for a Monday night. We got some really good matchups. We got Tony Finn and Matt Josephs here to break it down. Starting off with a really good matchup in the NL Central here. We get the St. Louis Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers. Mikolas versus Burns, 7.5 being the total. Minus 170 here, Tony. Two teams topped of the NL Central, both at 38 and 30 here, Tony Finn. You liking anything? Cards and Brew Crew tonight.
Well, I would like Burns, and I still like Burns. The issue with Milwaukee, at least for me in my orbit, is that they're just not reliable offensively. Now they were a little better this last weekend, but for the most part, their losing streak was a combination of some injuries to the pitching staff, combined with the fact that this team's just not right now. They're not in a good form offensively. The fact that they just it gives you an idea what this team's struggling a little bit when they designated for assignment a guy that I thought awful young and still should be playing at a high level, this weekend, played for a championship team in Kansas City, et cetera, et cetera. I don't trust Milwaukee. Now, Burns has only crossed the 10 or the double-digit strikeout plateau 4 times this season. The last time he did it was against his St. Louis team, where he was fantastic. He basically dominated. If you look at his slash number, his slash lines is 256, 271, 408 with an OPS of 678. The first meeting between Milwaukee, St. Louis, Miko won. Last time, Burns won. There's a lot of things not to like about Milwaukee. I think you can like Burns. His velocity's back where it was about last year. His early season struggles, I think, are behind him. And as long as he's getting those WKs, it'll make up for some of the hard contact. His hard contact is much higher this year than it was last year, and this is the year of a dead ball, Drew. So when you go to Miko real quickly, 13 starts, 2.62 ERA, 0.97 WHIP is a mirage. This is a mirage for a guy who doesn't strike any bat. When you have a 19% K rate, a strand rate of 80%, and a BABIP of 265, those numbers are unsustainable. Now, for his fortune, his surface metrics, those public math for Miko, be it unsustainable, they are sustainable if Milwaukee is hitting like they did last week or before this past weekend. I would be on this under in this game if I knew who the umpire was, be in game one of this set. We don't know. It won't be announced for about another hour, but I'm certainly not head over heels for either team.
Matt, coming to you next, man. I'm seeing Miles Mikolas in his last 16 innings. He's been lights out. I mean, his last time out, he was 1 out away from a no-hitter. He's also had 16 strikeouts and only 4 hits in those 2 starts. Corbin Burns, on the other side, to Tony's point, he's been a great pitcher for the last couple years now, one of the best in MLB, but his last 3 starts, he's been a little bit shaky. I'm kind of surprised to see this minus 170 number here with the Brewers. I think it's kind of expensive. What are you liking tonight in Milwaukee?
Well, I mean, I think the Cardinals are a good price. My concern is Miles Mikolas is coming off of throwing 129 pitches, by far the most in his career. And usually I like fading guys coming off of situations like that. Remember that, as you said, they were trying to get him the no-hitter, and he threw a ton of pitches, and it's a big concern. Now, look, he's going at 6 days rest, so that is a positive in his side, but I don't know how long he's going to last. Are they going to kind of say, all right, you threw 129 pitches last time, we're going to try and hold you to 80 to 90? Are you only going to go 5 or 6? And in which case the Cardinals bullpen is greatly an issue in this one. And ideally, you're going to go Burns for 6, Boxberger 7, Devin Williams 8, Josh Hader 9. So I like the pitching set up a little bit more for Milwaukee here, but the problem is I don't trust their lineup. So this was kind of an easy pass on a day like today with just a few games. But I would normally lean to the Cardinals, maybe even to the run line here. But I don't know what we're going to get from Mikolas after he threw a career high 129 pitches last time out.
Yeah, it is an interesting part of the handicap, because I'm seeing that a lot, like just kind of out on social media in terms of looking to fade a pitcher like that. Tony, I don't know if quickly, do you have anything in terms of 129 pitches last time out? However, to Matt's point as well, he is getting kind of that extended rest here in between starts. I think that factors in a little bit, Tony.
Yeah, and I'm not, to Matt's point, it's something that should be paid attention to. I typically pay attention to those kind of things to a guy who's a strikeout pitcher. Or is a little more, it puts some exertion, some stress almost every pitch, as opposed to a guy like Miko who's basically pitching to spots and trying to run that two-seamer down and get ground balls. So I don't know that 129, and there's no real history. I looked back to see if Miko had pitched even close to that this year. It hasn't, even last year. Through this pandemic stuff through the last 2 or 3 years, stats are really, they're all over the board. Sometimes they're unreliable, but I don't have, I think Matt's point is excellent. I just don't have any history or any evidence to say that this is going to be good or bad.
Yeah, and I'm looking, it looks like he's on 5 days rest here, and his OPS against on 5 days rest is 692. So that's below his average. I don't know, guys. Different ways to kind of handicap it here. Miles Mikolas and Corbin Burns, really good starting pitching matchup for first place in the NL Central. Got another good matchup up next here, mid-major Matt. 7:10 primetime start here. New York Yankees, Tampa Bay Rays. Gerrit Cole versus McClanahan, the lefty, going for the Rays. Talk about a good pitching matchup here, Matt. 6.5 being the total. -130 is what we're pretty much seeing the Yankees as the road favorite. Hey, this is a stadium where the Yanks have struggled. Tough to step in front of the New York Yankees, best team in baseball record-wise. But you're looking for a team that's kind of had their number. It's the Rays. Good handicapping matchup here. What are you liking in the Trop tonight, Matt?
Yeah, I don't love 6.5s. I don't like touching 6.5s. Weird things happen occasionally. Runs get scored, unearned runs, and then it kind of messes things up a little bit. And the weird thing with Cole is he feels like he's either on, which he's been on more than he's been off, or he's really off. And you can kind of tell like that start in Minnesota. He's got a good history against Tampa Bay, although G-Man Choi has a really good history, 9-19 with 3 homers against him in his career. As you said, you don't want to step in front of the Yankees. The one bet I kind of liked, but it's not exactly in a lot of sports books, is if you look at the under for the runs, hits, and errors combined tonight, it's 23. And I thought it was interesting because in this sports book that I looked at, they had over under 14.5 hits for the game. So if you take the 23, you subtract the 14.5, you get 8.5. And then the game is 6.5 or so. And then they're saying 2 runs. So I thought it was interesting. I know a lot of books don't offer it, but I'd kind of be interested in under 23 runs, hits, and errors in this one potentially. I think that you've got McClanahan, who's number 1 in WHIP. Cole, when he's on, which is the scary part of this thing, doesn't give up a lot of hits. He'll go 6 or 7 innings, and we know the Yankees bullpen's really good. So, 6.5s are really tough to get into. The first 5 was only 3, which I also don't like. But if you're looking for some creative ways to play this game, maybe look at like a runs, hits, and errors under. That way you can get kind of, root for a couple of different things.
Tony, what are you liking here in Yankee Stadium of the South in Tampa tonight?
Well, I mean, don't fall into the theory folder that, when you come off a long winning streak, that it's kind of it's a downer, or it's a trend where you're going to be not excited to play. I just don't think that's who the Yankees are. I think their record shows that when they've come off of losses strikingly well. And this is a team that makes pitchers work. They work the count. They're doing things this year that I've complained about, guys, for that baseball's gotten away from being situational. And it's everything's a walk, a strikeout, or a home run. You're up there swinging for the fences. This team's actually moving runners. They're doing things that, as long as they're healthy and they're playing the way they're playing, it's hard not to like them, especially against the Tampa Bay team who does their best work against left-handers pitching and have been really not very good offensively. Since they lost their young stud. They have not been They have not been very good offensively, especially. And the last two times these teams met with Cole on the mound, Cole only gave up 3 quality contact bad balls, 3 hard hit balls. And if you look at his slash line against this team, it's not pretty if you're thinking about backing Tampa Bay. The under 6.5, as Matt said, is awful low. However, I have a hard time playing over it. So we again don't know who the umpire is. So that kind of takes me away from totals. And when I find out who the umpire is, it does it assists me in if I have a lean in whether I'm in or whether I'm watching. I'm watching right now.
Watching. Maybe get in a little bit later there, Tony Finn. Tijuana
Yeah,
Tony,
maybe.
buy some. Check him out. WagerTalk.com. We got Matt Josephs at MidMajor Matt on Twitter. And check him out at sportsmemo.com. Guys, it's $9 Monday. All plays discounted to just $9. Great day to check out the site each and every Monday. 5% plays as well. Normally $35. Today, just $9. So check it out. WagerTalk.com. We got one game left. We got best bets at the end. Huge shout out to the chat box as well. Everybody joining us live. We got Nathan Cantor in the house from the state of Hawaii. Patrick, Jeff, all you guys. Thanks for joining us. Feel free to throw out any questions on what you're betting tonight. All is welcome. We got one game left here. Heading to the Windy City, 8:10 Eastern start. Toronto Blue Jays at the Chicago White Sox. Tony, coming to you first. We get Lance Lynn. I believe only his second start here of the season versus Berrios going for the Jays. Interesting note here, Tony, looking at the Wager Talk odds screen, we're seeing some opinion in the marketplace. Anywhere from -122, that's the Jays as the favorite at Caesars, to as high as -135. You normally don't see this at this time of day, guys. Is why I'm bringing it up in terms of what a 13-cent difference in the marketplace, both kind of available in large sports books here. -122 to -135 right now. That's the Jays as the favorite. Total of 9. You liking anything in the Windy City tonight, Tony?
Well, I'll say this. I do like something. The weather, the conditions, stadium conditions, they're guaranteed aren't perfect to play an over with. And for the most part, Chicago against right-handers hasn't been favorable playing north of the odds makers closing number. However, Berrios has given up. Listen, his numbers they're not pretty, the surface numbers, but they're a reflection of who he's been this year, and he's given up a lot of hard contact, really a lot of hard contact. He hasn't been very good. In fact, a lot of the Toronto's issues, be it early in the season, they couldn't bring a runner home if their life depended on it. Their RSVP, their runners in scoring position percentage was horrendous. Now they've flipped the script a little bit. They've become much better. They average about 4.5 runs per game. They own a 748 OPS, which is, I think, third best as being one of the most dangerous offenses in all of baseball. I think we saw that yesterday down 5, and it seemed nothing to them against a good Yankees bullpen. The Yankees started and bullpen came back and won that game 10-9. And did the job they had to do with their bullpen, which I think is pedestrian at the best. Their pitching staff is mediocre. It's pedestrian right now. It sits in the middle of the league as far as the ERA, and their bullpen ERA is over 4. So I like the over in this game, and a full game over, because I think if it gets the two bullpens, we have a much better chance to see double-digit runs.
Up and over the total, Chicago and Toronto tonight. Matt, we got kind of differing opinions here in the chat box. We got Nathan saying, I'm on the Toronto bats against Lynn's fastball. And Jeff saying, I like fading Berrios, especially on the road. To Nathan's point there, Lynn's fastball, his velocity has dropped since last season. Again, only his second start, so it could be volatile coming into tonight's game. What are you liking, Blue Jays and White Sox tonight, Matt?
Look, with regards to Berrios, I had somebody, Joey Falcone, ask about the over for Berrios' strikeout prop. On the road, he just doesn't do it for me as much. I was very lucky 2 starts ago in Detroit, the number was only 4.5, and he got 5. And we know the Tigers are a team that strikes out a lot, especially against righties. And then the start before that, he gets rocked in Anaheim, and the Angels, who strike out pretty much against everybody, he only had 1.
Yeah.
You look, he had 4 against the Yankees. He had 0 in Cleveland. So it's a guy that just isn't reliable on the road. The positive thing for the White Sox is it looks like Tim Anderson's going to be back. That's huge for the lineup. Of course, it's more huge against lefties because he's one of those guys that in that lineup helps mash lefties. But I think Tim Anderson's return is going to help buoy the clubhouse. The problem with taking the White Sox here is A, the Blue Jays have the better lineup, as you just said, and B, I don't know what to expect from Lance Lynn. Last outing, I feel like it was just Lance Lynn going out there, throwing the ball over, kind of working through his pitches, treating it like spring training. Well, one start down, the second start, I still feel like he could be treating this like spring training. Who knows how long he's going to go? Is he going to go 5? Is he going to go 6? Does he have a pitch count in this sort of thing? So there's a lot of variables here that I just can't consider. The over, as Tony said, seems like a decent play because, if the wrong Lance Lynn shows up, Toronto could take advantage. If the wrong Jose Berrios shows up, then you can get more runs there. It's just a really tough game to kind of figure. Wish I could see Lynn a little bit more to kind of know if he's just going through the motions or this is what Lance Lynn is now in his major league career.
I like it. Matt Josephs at Mid-Major Matt on Twitter. Check him out, sportsmemo.com. Matt, what do you got going on at Sports Memo tonight? You involved with $9 Monday?
Yeah, I got a 2-pack. You'll get one of the plays during my best bet. Unfortunately, as I always say, these K-props, I get up early about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, put my K-prop plays in, and the juice goes wild and the numbers change and things like that. So while, I would love for people to join me all access, you'll get the K-props the moment they come out. That's the best way I would say to do it is to join me all access and then get up at 8 or 9 in the morning. And when they come in, you join me on those.
Moving markets, check them out, sportsmemo.com, $9 Monday there. We got Tony Finn, Tijuana. Tony. 2 questions for you, man. Are you involved with $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com? And any plans to head down to Tijuana here shortly? What are you thinking in the Mexican Baseball League? Any tidbits for the watchers?
Yes and yes are the answers to your questions. Yes, I'm involved, and yes, I'd like to go to Tijuana. There's a problem with Tijuana, and that is we've talked about pitchers that are unreliable. It's really a city that's unreliable if you need internet, if you have to have it, if you have to work. It's pretty it's there, but it's like having it's like Tijuana Cable Company, too. I really don't want anything to do with them. I do have a big play. I have a 5%er tonight sitting up, and I've had a pretty good baseball season so far. The start's been so far about 92% ROI. 2.5 months into the season, and feeling pretty. The first month was just great. I was on the right side of some luck, which always helps in baseball, right? But recently, I'm still doing pretty well. But recently, some of that. Yesterday, for instance, I had 2 totals that I lost in the first half and the bottom of the 5th on a home run by a 9th place hitter that's hitting 202 went deep, and I lose it was a pretty big number and pretty heavy juice, but and then I also had the under in Boston, and they scored 6 runs, 3 in the bottom of the 8th, 3 in the top of the 9th, and I lose that, and that took all 6 for me to lose that. So you had to feel kind of good about that, and at the same time a little sour. Drum roll, please.
It happens, man. Yeah, any sports bettors out there know what you're going through. But I do remember that start to this season, man. You were on fire. So give him some back. But hey, I'm sure turning it around, maybe even tonight. And your comments on Tijuana, an unreliable city, that was funny, man. In terms of the internet, I'll tell you this though: Veracruz, Mexico, has really good internet for whatever reason. I didn't have any problems staying down there for about a week, Tony. So hey, maybe some stories we can share off camera.
I think they have. Yeah, they probably rely. Veracruz relies a little bit more on that kind of tourism where people actually use it. Tijuana is a bunch of college kids. They're just stopping to the drugstore to get whatever pill they want to have for the evening, and probably not caring too much about the internet.
It is a good sports town, though. Their baseball team and their soccer team, guys. If you're into sports south of the border, it's like the dominant city in terms of Mexican sports. But guys, we do have best bets tonight. Feel free to go in the Mexican baseball league if you want there, Tony. But we got the first game up. I can start us off here with best bets. St. Louis Cardinals versus Milwaukee Brewers. It was the first game we talked about here, guys. And really, I'm going after this price point. I mean, minus 170 on the Milwaukee Brewers. I just think it's too expensive here, guys. We're getting too big of a plus price on the Cardinals. I wrote it up, detailed written analysis on my page, WagerTalk.com, Drew Martin, if you want to go read it. But really, Miles Mikolas, his last 16 innings, last 2 starts here, he's only given up 4 hits and 2 earned runs with 16 strikeouts. He's been lights out. I mean, I remember watching his post-game interview after throwing the no-hitter, and he was just like, man, this is what I do. I'm ready to go right back out and throw again. So I don't think him off of, 5 days rest here, he's got enough time to recuperate. I think the market kind of going against him, fading that 120 whatever pitches last time out. I think it's a little bit overdue here. Plus the fact the price, you're not getting any bargains here on the Brew Crew. Corbin Burns, good pitcher overall, one of the best actually the last couple years, but he's being priced like it. And to tell you the truth, his last 16 innings, only his last 3 starts here, have not been very good. He's given up a bunch of hits, bunch of runs as well. So I think this Cardinals lineup, the better lineup, gets to him a little bit more than the Brewers lineup gets to Mikolas. So I will take a big plus price underdog tonight. I'm on the Redbirds. Can get him as high as plus 157 right now. So that's what we're going with. My best bet. Throw it over to Matt Josephs at Major Matt on Twitter. Check him out, sportsmemo.com. $9 Monday, guys, there at Sports Memo and Wager Talk. Matt, what do you got for final thoughts for the show? What's your best bet, man?
I'm going to a K-prop. It's one that's way overjuiced on DraftKings. Don't do it. And it's getting close to overjuiced on FanDuel, but there might be some luck on some other places. I got it minus 125. I'm taking under 4.5 strikeouts for Noah Syndergaard. Kansas City, 22nd in K rate against right-handed pitching this season. Thor's gone under this number in 6 of his 10 starts overall, and 7 of 8 and 13 of the last 19 right-handed starting pitchers have had 4 strikeouts or less against the Royals. They've had these stretches where they strike out a bunch, and so that's a bit of a concern here, but Thor doesn't seem as much of a strikeout pitcher as he has been. So give me the under 4.5 strikeouts on Noah Syndergaard for this evening.
Okay, what was that price, Matt?
It's minus, so on FanDuel, it's minus 148 or so. Don't worry about it on DraftKings. Unfortunately, It's in the minus 170s. I don't take that. So if you do want to play it with one of your other things, do a little 2-thing parlay. But I do like the under 4.5 strikeouts for Noah Syndergaard.
Okay, minus 148 at FanDuel, I think. So we got Tony Finn here at Finn at Wager Talk on Twitter. Check him out, wagertalk.com. $9 Monday again, guys. Tony, what do you got for final thoughts for the show, and what's your best bet?
Final thoughts are that you like the card. You said it was kind of a weird kind of card. It is a weird card, and I had a hard time finding something I could really put my arms around. But I'm going to go to Atlanta, a game between Giants and the Braves. 2 quality pitchers, Webb and Fried, and both of them, if you look at their slash lines, for instance, Webb, 149, 182, 212, with an OPS of 394 against the current Atlanta possible lineup, whatever they want to throw at him. That's his slash line. Fried's 196, 217, 294, OPS of 511. Not near the 394, but 511 is sad. If their OPS as a team is 511, then you're not winning a whole lot of games. So that said, the reason I hesitate on this, the number's 4. You can get an under 4, and you can get plus money on the under 4 right now. Most joints, guys. But no umpire has been announced. So if I'm playing the under and Jerry Meals happens to be announced to the umpire, I'm finding a way to get off that damn thing. And that's the problem. That's kind of why I wait. So, as Matt said, this sets up to be the weather's not overly crazy warm in Atlanta, and the wind's not blowing out terribly. So Truist Park, it can give up some long balls, but both these guys are good pitchers and know how to induce ground balls. Give me the under 4 in Atlanta tonight.
Like it, Tony. And the intro in terms of a good card, it was because, we got the Rays and the Yanks and the St. Louis Cardinals, Milwaukee Brewers, so kind of like top-notch card. I like it handicapping wise as well, guys. Got the free play up on my page, and the best bets here correlated. Cardinals plus 157. The big dog is barking there with the Redbirds over the Brew Crew. We got Matt Josephs, Noah Syndergaard under 4.5 strikeouts, minus 148 price tag on that, and Tony Finn, San Francisco Giants, Atlanta Braves. Another good series there in Cobb County. First 5 under 4. Plus money on that from Tijuana, Tony Finn. We got Matt Josephs as well. I am Drew Martin. Check us out, WagerTalk.com, sports memo as well, $9 Monday. Please smash that like button, guys. If you're liking the content, feel free to reply below. If you're watching on replay, that works as well. Let us know what you're betting tonight. Any questions, we'll answer them this week on the show. We'll be back tomorrow, Tuesday, 2 o'clock Eastern time. Come back and join us right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Guys, best of luck with your bets. Until then, thanks for tuning in.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.